Namaste. Welcome to Vishwa Yoga. My name is Vishwa. In this video, let me share the core practices of Tantric Hatha Yoga. Many people ask me how Tantric Hatha Yoga practices differ from popular yoga classes. So allow me to first introduce the basic concepts behind these practices, and then you may be able to connect the dots. So first, let me give you a simple definition of Tantric Yoga. Technically, Tantra and Yoga are two different systems. But when Yoga is practiced with a Tantric approach, it becomes Tantric Yoga. Now, you may wonder that what do I mean by Tantric approach? So let me give you a fundamental difference which will give you an idea about this approach. Yoga advocates abstention from sensual pleasure, but Tantra says there is no need to reject or renounce the sensual pleasure, as every experience is potentially divine. Even in the deepest state of meditation, senses are active, just turn inward, which normally stay outwards towards gross objects. So in Tantric approach, you use all senses and move from gross to subtle. Now coming to Hatha Yoga. If you remember in my Hatha Yoga video, I talked about the major authoritative texts, and one of them was Gheranda Samhita. Though some scholars categorize it as a Vedic text, but in reality, the practical orientation of this text is Tantric. You can also call it a Vedantric text. In Gheranda Samhita, Hatha Yoga is referred as Ghatastha Yoga. Ghat means pot, jar, or vessel, which primarily refers to our body. Thus, it's a body-oriented yoga practice. Gheranda Samhita also describes 7 practices, namely purification, strengthening, steadiness, calmness, lightness, direct perception, and isolation. If you will read this specific verse, I believe it's number 9. And if you'll read commentaries on it, you will find that each one is connecting to a specific limb of classical yoga. You may not find its respective practices or guidelines with a Tantric approach as what exactly you should practice in the progression. But I will briefly share and introduce them right here for your understanding, as they were passed down to me by my teachers. So, in the Tantric tradition, all 5 elements connecting to our 5 senses, along with chakras, koshas, nadis, doshas, vayus, and vital essences, are fully utilized in the practice. Therefore, whether you follow a left hand or right hand path practice, using any branch of Tantric Yoga, they all follow the same stages of practice known as earth, moon, sun, and fire. I briefly mentioned these practices in my Tantra fundamental video, namely, I believe in Sri Vidya episode. In each branch, these practices are approached differently, but the core principle remains the same. Now, let's focus on Hatha Yoga, where the 7 practices described in the Gheranda Samhita are mapped into these 4 practices: earth, moon, sun, and fire. You can see their grouping right here in the respective area. Many yoga practitioners are not directly familiar with these practices. Some are familiar with chakras, But these practices are not limited to popular chakra-based yoga practices, but much more. So let me briefly talk about them, and later I will delve into each practice separately. So the earth represents our physical body, which we commonly identify with. Thus, earth practice focuses on body purification, strengthening, and nurturing for overall physical well-being, because a healthy body is a foundation for all success and joy. The moon represents our mental and emotional body, and thus moon practice deals with mental and emotional stability, calmness, patience, and overall mental well-being, which directly affects our physical body. The sun represents our pranic body or energetic body, which deals with personal power, willpower, and self-esteem, helping us to take action, make decisions, and assert ourselves in the world. And lastly, the fire practice represents the transformative power in our psychic body that burns away negativity, obstacles, and self-doubt without any attachments and unlocks the dormant potential within us. So in Tantric Hatha Yoga, earth practice prepares and cultivates the body with effort, while moon practice prepares our mind by nurturing the Ida Nadi or lunar energy channel. Ida refers to feminine energy connected to our right brain, and the sun practice gives us clarity with direct perception by activating the Pingala Nadi or solar energy channel, referred to as masculine energy connected to our left brain. Once the moon and sun practices are done systematically and methodically using the yogic tools and techniques, they bring balance and enable the pathway for the Kundalini energy to move through Sushumna Nadi, also known as the central or spiritual channel, to connect to our higher self. Once the spiritual channel is activated, gradual transformation begins, and we establish ourselves in the state of yoga through the practice of yoga, or to be precise, Tantric Hatha Yoga. I offer a comprehensive workshop series where I teach the practices of Tantric Hatha Yoga. I have taught in various regions, including North America, where I live, Latin America, Africa, Europe, and Asia. Each session takes around 2 to 3 hours depending on the students, and consists of thorough introduction to the fundamental principle first, followed by the practice. As the series progresses, each workshop builds upon the previous one, utilizing various tools and techniques to deepen the practice. In each session, using some of the major components of Tantric Hatha Yoga, you will learn how to harness the capacity of your body, breath, mind, and or beyond. I hope this brief overview gives you an understanding of the core practices and stages of Tantric Hatha Yoga practices. If you have any questions or would like to learn more, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you for watching this video and have a wonderful day. Namaste. Thank you so much for listening. If you like the information, please subscribe, like, and share so that everyone else can also enjoy this.